Hey everyone, Tech G here, representing those who are 40 and up with other tech. And for those of you who were wondering if the GameSir X2 controller and the Egg NS emulator, which works only with that controller, will work with the Samsung Z Fold 3, I'm here to let you know that it actually does. So here is the GameSir X2 controller. And here is my Z Fold 2 connected to it. This blue light indicates that the phone is basically powering the controller, letting you know that it's now connected and it does work. As you can see, I'm pressing the left analog stick and you're seeing the selection of games change because of me moving the analog stick. So it does indeed work. I've already set everything up in advance, and I've tested out a couple of games myself that I have in my arsenal to see if they actually work. So I did try 3 games, and you're going to see some quick video footage right here showing some quick gameplay of some of the games that I've tested. So I am happy to say that Disgaea 6, which was just released maybe a month ago on the Nintendo Switch, that game definitely works on the GameSir X2 controller using the Egg NS emulator. So that's wonderful. Another game that I tested is called The Lost Child. Can't really remember when that game was released, but I'm happy to say that that game also works with the Egg NS emulator. And one of my favorite games, you would think I would say Mario or Metroid, but Uno. Uno definitely works on this emulator. Now, Uno is not as graphically intense as The Lost Child, Disgaea 6, and other games that are on the Switch, but nonetheless, it does work if you're interested in getting that game for your setup. So like I said, the proof of concept is here in my video, shows that it does work. So let me give you my quick impression and quick pros and cons list of this controller and using the Egg NS emulator. So my pro list is short, but it's pretty cool. Of course, the first thing on my list, playing Nintendo Switch games on your phone is absolutely amazing. Another pro, or another thing that's good about this emulator, this is the emulator right here. It has a simple interface, so there's nothing really confusing. Once you set everything up and get your ROMs onto your phone or memory card, if your phone allows you to read from the memory card, or the application, the Egg NS emulator itself, and for the most part it does. Once you get everything set up, it all appears right here, ready to go. So it's not really that hard to go ahead and start playing games right on your phone. Now the things I don't like, my con list, that list is a little bit longer than the good list, so let me just get right into it. The first thing that you're really not going to like about this, the Egg NS emulator, and even using the GameSir X2 controller, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the first thing that's bad, this is the only controller that you can use with the Egg NS emulator. So if you have any other controller, even if you have the Razer Kishi, even if you have a Bluetooth controller, even if you use the GameSir Bluetooth controller, which is gray, those controllers, no other controller will work with the Egg NS emulator. So this controller right here, the GameSir X2, whether you get the first rendition with the button D-pad or the second rendition with the actual directional controller D-pad, either one of those controllers will work with the Egg NS emulator. No other controller will. So that's the first downfall. Second downfall, not every game will work on the emulator. So even if you have a whole slew of ROMs, not every ROM will work on the EggNS emulator. And no, I do not have the time to test every single game, but I will direct you in the comment section to someone that has done some work and trying to find out which games work with the emulator and which don't. But the sad part is, again, not all games work with the emulator. Another bad thing, not every phone is compatible with the EggNS emulator and the X2 controller. You need to have a phone that has OTG support. OTG support meaning the USB Type-C port on your phone is compatible to use with peripherals. So let's say, for example, you want to use an external hard drive on your phone and have it be read on your smartphone. In order for that to happen, you need to have OTG support. So you got to make sure that your phone does have OTG support. If it doesn't, it will not be able to work with this controller at all. Because in order for the controller to work with your phone, it has to have OTG support in order for this blue light to come on. So make sure that you do check and see if your phone has OTG support. Best way to do it, buy the controller and connect your phone to it. If the blue light comes on, it has OTG support. I mean, you can also look up and see, and that'll be even easier and better without you buying the controller to see if your phone has OTG support. Go ahead and check your manual or go on YouTube and possibly find out from a video if your phone has OTG support. So again, not all phones are compatible. Now there is a compatibility can't even say it today. Compatibility list of phones and games in a sense on the EggNS website. I will leave that link in my comment section if you're interested in seeing what games and what phones are compatible. Now let me say right now that list for the games and phones are not complete. It's being updated, it's being tested daily, weekly by certain people. So your phone might not even be on the compatibility list, so you can check yourself to see again if your phone has OTG support so that you can add it to the list. So again, not all games and phones are compatible. Next thing that's bad. During testing, and I've tested a few Samsung phones. I've tested my Note 8, Note 9, Note 10 Plus. Tested a lot of Samsung phones that I've owned over time. And for every phone that I've tested, and this is bad, the back of the phone gets really, really hot. I don't know if it's the battery or the processor. I'm believing it's the battery because a nice area on the back of the phone gets very, very hot. And sometimes when that happens, it shuts the phone down. So, for example, when I tested Diablo 3, one of my favorite games, on this emulator and setup, it did get hot, very, very hot, where after I would say 5 minutes of play, it completely shut down on me. I mean, the RAM, which does show in the upper left-hand corner, just started going down, 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 where it got to 0, and when it got to 0, boom, done. Actually, sometimes it didn't even get to 0, where it shut down. But I believe it's because of the heat that's being emanated through the phone, which shuts it down. And that right there is not cool, especially if you're playing a game and you didn't get to a save point and you're using this as your main Nintendo Switch. For it to shut down like that, not very cool. So if you're playing your game, just make sure that if you can, save as much as you can. Now, I'm not sure if every phone that's compatible with EggNS does get hot like that. I haven't seen a lot of videos. In fact, I haven't seen any videos, except for my video that I'm making right now, that mentions that the phone gets hot on the back and it does shut down during gameplay. So you're hearing it from me first. I don't know why I haven't heard from other people that have tested phones that it does that. Maybe it doesn't on those phones, but Samsung phones, I definitely know for a fact that they get hot and they shut down. So just be warned with that. And the last thing that's not really cool, you kind of have to make an account. So you see that little icon of a person right there. You have to make a little account in order for you to use this emulator and interface. So make sure you just set up a dummy account. Don't put your actual everyday account on to make your account on here. Just get yourself a dummy account. Very easy to make a dummy account on with Gmail or whatever, and just use that to sign up and sign into the EggNS emulator to play your games. And this icon right here, which shows a controller, it shows a check mark, that is showing that this controller is compatible with the EggNS emulator. If you put any other controller in, you will not get that green check mark to show that it works. Now, why isn't it focusing? I don't know why. What happened to my laser focus? I'll fix that later, but that icon right there is a green check mark. But nonetheless, that's the pro and con list. And just from that list, for me, when it comes to using this, like I said, it is really cool that you can play Nintendo Switch games on your phone instead of having a Nintendo Switch and your phone on your person. The bad list or the con list just outweighs the pro list, where it's not really that great to actually have. So my opinion, if you want to play Nintendo Switch games, get yourself an actual Nintendo Switch. Like I said, this is still cool to have on your phone, on your person, and just one device to have it all, but it's not really compatible with a lot of games and a lot of phones. So that's why it's just best to get yourself an actual Nintendo Switch. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoy making it and enjoy giving you this information so that you don't have to go through what I went through. Because, like I said, if I really need to play Nintendo Switch games, I'm going to get myself a Nintendo Switch. So that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed the video, definitely leave that thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Tell your friends about my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video.